The Raiders. Yours is better than mine. You beat me. I'm very skeptical on this roster.
I think this team could either go like 1-16 or like 11-6.
I think 1-16 are like 8-8.
Okay, so
9-8.
Say what you want about Jimmy G. He wins games in a very boring way. He commands an offense, doesn't turn the ball over. We'll see what Josh McDaniels has, but he's not going to put this offense in a situation to fail. So as long as their defense can keep it close, you look at Maxx Crosby, one of the best players in the league. They bring in Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech, absolute freak of nature. If he can be a dominant force on that defensive line with Maxx Crosby, that defensive line is going to be something to fear for sure. Josh Jacobs was incredible last year. It's one of those things where it's like, if everything goes right, I could see them being a double-digit win team, but we're more than likely looking at a single-digit win team.
Here's where I came down to, like, going through everything I could find on them. They're going to run the ball well. Josh McDaniels showed the ability to scheme up a good run offense last year that really excelled. It was the backbone of the offense last year. And I expect it to be that again this year. But unless it's San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan levels of efficient, it's just going to be worse than what San Francisco was last year. With Jimmy G at quarterback, San Francisco averaged 24 points a game. And I'm not sure this defense is holding many people under 20 points a game, which means you have a lot of coin flips. You have a lot of luck playing into everything that you have there. This is not the San Francisco 49ers defense. Their run game might be close to San Francisco. You throw in the whole health question with Jimmy G at that point too. Like, I like their weapons. Yeah. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Hunter Renfrow. Maybe he might be traded. I don't know. I mean, bringing in Michael Mayer, I think it is a nice move. They have a nice tight end room. Their O-line is actually kind of surprisingly decent, despite being like Andre James and Alex Bars are two like UDFA types. I'm not sure if Andre James was a UDFA. Alex Bars wasn't a UDFA. I know that. Dylan Parham, he took some lumps last year, but I think that there is a little something there to work with. And I like their bookends on the O-line. Like, it's not that I don't think that they have talent. It's that Jimmy G has missed like 6 games a year over the last 5 years on average. Yeah. And you're going to Axel Bryan, the Destroyer Hoyer when Jimmy G goes down. And I'm just not sure that that's the best strategy at this point in his career. And again, this defense, unless they're going to be like San Francisco levels of good, I just don't see how this team is winning double-digit games.
So, I mean, if Chandler Jones can play at a high level and Maxx Crosby continues to be Maxx Crosby, which is, in my opinion, the top 3 defense player in the entire league, and then you get high production out of Tyree Wilson, that's going to elevate the entire defense when you got three guys on the defensive line that can absolutely wreck your shit at any given time. I think that's going to help. Being able to control the offensive line with the run, or control the offensive side of the ball with the run game, will help. Having Davante Adams there, one of the best receivers in the league, helps. Michael Mayer, one of the best receiving tight end prospects we've seen in a very, very long time, helps. And then you still have Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, maybe. Zamir White, I like a lot. So, I mean, there's things to hang your hat on here. And as we looked at the schedule, I mean, supposedly they have a harder strength of schedule than the Chargers do. But when you break it down, like, I like the way the schedule breaks for them. Like, going to Denver week 1. Denver's a hard place to play. They're more talented than you. You have to go there week 1. Let's say you can go and get that win. And then you go to Buffalo in September. Like, there's not a better time to play in Buffalo than September. Then you have Pittsburgh coming to you after that, which isn't the worst thing in the world. And then you have Chargers, Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit, Giants, Jets. Pretty good stretch there where best case scenario, you can win some games there. And then you go to Miami, and then Kansas City comes in. 2 tough games, but you have a late bye, which is good. So if you're anywhere close to being in the hunt at that point, a late bye is incredible. And then especially considering you come off the bye with Minnesota and the Chargers coming to you, and 2 more winnable games there. I mean, we don't know what Minnesota's going to look like. Chargers are always hurt at the end of the season, and then you end the season going to Kansas City, which you got to do either way. But a late game at Kansas City. If you're going to play Kansas City, hopefully it's late in the season. I always say, and then at Indy, and then Denver to finish it off. I mean, for the second hardest strength of schedule, I think it breaks for them in every way possible to like set them up for success.
They'll win games that they win the coin toss in.
Yeah.
I think it's as simple as that. I mean, I look at this schedule, I see a bunch of teams who are going to be really good at running the football whenever they want to. And I am not sure that this offense can play from behind. Jimmy Garoppolo, since getting to San Francisco, is 6-10 in the only 16 games where he was asked to throw the football at a 60% clip.
Yeah.
And he is 32-7 in games where he was asked to throw below a 60% clip. 60% isn't high. That's low to begin with. So, like, this is not a quarterback that they can't run the ball. Put the weight of the offense on. And if they fall behind, this offense might shatter. Like, he has a negative EPA per play in those games where he's asked to have that higher usage rate. And the reason I say they got to win the coin flip is because they got to get a lead. And I think teams will just be able to march right down the field on this defense. And they were 30th in run success rate last year as a defense. Their D line really does not have a lot that can stop the run up the middle. Their edges are great. Maxx Crosby is a stud. If Jones can become close to what you paid for, you are excited. I think Tyree Wilson might even end up kicking inside here and there just based on the way the rosters plays out here. But that's all pass rushing stuff. Crosby can play the run well. Tyree Wilson can play the run on the edge. But, like, up the middle, they don't have a linebacker on this roster over 235 pounds.
I guess I will come to.
They better. Like, they need some size, man. This D line is lacking run stuffers. Their linebackers are light, and their safeties struggled to tackle last year. I'm just not sure that any team is going to even try to pass on them.
Yeah. So, are you in the? So let's put this Raiders team. You're in 2 different categories. Are you a don't sleep on the Raiders believer, or are you tank for Caleb Raiders believer?
Tank for Caleb Raiders believer.
I think that's the right move. I think bringing in an elite quarterback into this and give yourself time to build on a rookie contract with a guy like Caleb Williams. This
seems really well constructed for him.
A lot of optimism there. But if Jimmy G goes out there and wins you 7 games, that could absolutely train wreck your entire future for the next 8 years, I think. Yeah. I think worst case scenario, you win 7 to 9 games, because I don't know how this team gets better in the offseason if they're not able to draft a Drake May or a Caleb Williams. And I wouldn't even put Drake May in that conversation right now. It's mainly just Caleb Williams. I guess Quinn Ewers could go out there and ball out this season. You got 3 quarterbacks up there, but I mean, Quinn Ewers really hasn't shown it yet.
There's a lot of questions with his throwing mechanics.
Yeah, so I mean, we're hoping and praying on guys that aren't Caleb Williams, but Caleb Williams is one of the most surefire prospects I've seen in a long, long time.
There's some advanced data that says that, like, it loves Caleb Williams, but it says you should also love Drake May. Like, there's some advanced numbers that are really impressive for Drake May.
What did the analytics say about Will Levis? Because Kentucky fans were convinced he was the best quarterback in the nation.
They didn't say anything very good about Will Levis.
I didn't think so.
Shout out for Nate Hobbs, though. Nate Hobbs is a baller on this defense. I do like Nate Hobbs.
Shout out Nate.
And Amik Robertson doing his thing at like 5'7". He's a baller at that height. Same with Duke Shelley. But, like, having 2 of those guys starting at the same time is worrying to me.
So I don't know what the value is here. I would say if you can get alternate odds on like under 5 wins at plus money, that would be the play here because I'm absolutely taking under 7.5 wins. But I'm sure minus 7.5 or under 7.5 will be like minus 150, minus 250, somewhere around there. But if you can find odds like where you can like pick the wins and take the total, I'll take under 5 wins for this team.
Yeah. I mean, I could see a situation where like Denver, Buffalo, Pittsburgh just make life hard on these guys and it starts to unravel for McDaniels like it did in the past. I mean, he has supposedly grown and it's supposedly he's a different coach now,
So
but like that would
do
be
they
my
keep
worry.
McDaniels if they get the number 1 pick and you bring in Caleb Williams? Do you keep McDaniels there?
I think it all depends on how he's managing the locker room if they're losing that like that, and how how you see him in the facility, and how his mental health is going, and how his he is interacting with others, and like I think there's a lot of factors that go into that.
So they host the Super Bowl this year, I believe, right? Big time name McDaniels. You bring in Davante Adams. You go draft Michael Mayer. I mean, these are all new things. Maxx Crosby is one of the best players in the league. You go pay all this money for Chandler Jones. It doesn't work out with Derek Carr. He's out the door. What do you do if you're the Raiders if they are mediocre? What do you do if you go 6-11 or 7-10?
That's the worst case scenario.
You'll be
just stuck in
picking
purgatory.
You'll be picking 10-12.
Trade up. Trade up.
Trade up.
After Justin Fields balls out and the Bears have like the number 2 pick from Carolina, fingers crossed. Not that I don't actually think they're going to be that bad, but if it all goes right,
gonna be good.
Go trade up with the Chicago Bears and get your quarterback.
I mean, you look at the teams that are going to be bad. I don't know. I don't know because it's one of those quarterback drafts where most likely the people picking in the area of where the quarterbacks will be aren't moving.